Hey everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Dad Lounge. I'm Ryan, and I'm very glad that you're here. This podcast is all about fatherhood, the joys, the struggles, the funny moments, and the real unfiltered stuff that we don't always get to talk about as dads. This is a safe space, a place with no judgment, just honesty, connection, and maybe a few dad jokes along the way. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not here because I have all the answers. I'm here because, like you, I'm learning every single day what it means to be a dad. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I stumble. But I found that sharing these moments, both the wins, the fails, makes the journey a lot better. And that's what this show is all about, in all honesty, creating a lounge, a place to kick back, breathe, and talk about what it really means to raise our kids. So whether you're a brand new dad, a seasoned pro, or just someone who wants to listen in on what dad life is all about, welcome. Grab a seat. This is your lounge too. Since this is the first episode, I thought I'd kick things off by talking about my own journey into fatherhood a little bit. So I remember the first time that it really hit me I was going to be a dad, that I was going to have a little human just growing around me and just a blank slate that would learn everything from me, from its mom, from the rest of its family. Now, I will preface by saying the first time that I had a baby, a toddler, was not my first child. I'll go more in depth in that later in the podcast. So it was around 2 a.m. We're at the hospital in labor. I'm playing my Nintendo Switch because things are very hard on me, while everyone else is, being very loud, a little obnoxious. There's a little pain going on. No, I'm kidding, obviously. It was 2 a.m. and the nurse, let us know that the baby could come at any moment. So that's when it really hit me that, okay, it's getting real. This is about to happen. Because I think I had a similar moment back when we were a couple of months pregnant. I remember being terrified when we were buying furniture and things like that for the baby. I remember building the crib, and there's a picture of me building the crib, and I just look so terrified in this picture. The reason I was terrified, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different emotions, right? I mean, we know how that feels whenever it finally hits you. I'm going to be a dad. I'm still trying to get my own stuff together, right? Now, not everyone does it that way. A lot of people, I'm sure, they wait until they have their lives together before they have a kid. But for a lot of us, it doesn't work that way. Now, I was raised by my grandmother. My birth mother wasn't in the picture. My birth father, not in the picture. So for the longest time, I was okay with not having a baby because it had a lot of just, I guess, bad feelings associated with it, a lot of bad memories, and I was sour, I was scared, mainly. But, I realized that it would be a blessing. It would do far more good than bad, and maybe it would be exactly what I needed. And it's the best decision I ever made. I'm so glad that I did. So I was scared for a ton of reasons. I didn't know how to raise, in our case, a boy to be a man. I didn't have that. Like, I remember being so lost growing up and, having to mess up so much to get things right, and so many things that I still don't know how to do, or that, I wish I could have spoken to someone about, or had someone coach me through it, or just be there for me. But I digress. 2 a.m., sitting in the hospital, playing Super Mario Odyssey on a Nintendo Switch. And it finally hit me that, okay, in a few hours, I will see a child, a human that I helped create that is just as much of me as it is its mom. And that scared me because I'm human. We're all human. I'm not all good. I'm not perfect. I'm still trying to figure things out. I'm still learning, right? So I want this baby to have the better part of me. So fast forward a few hours, around 8 a.m., they say that we're going to have a baby in just a few minutes. She starts to go into labor. So in comes a group of doctors, nurses, whomever delivering the baby. They had amongst them a new intern. I'm assuming it was an intern, younger college student, It was her first time ever delivering a baby. So I felt good in that aspect, in the fact that I wasn't the only one in there who was doing this for the first time. That gave me a little bit of peace of mind, and honestly did. I remember standing behind Kimberly's shoulder. I didn't want to be down front and center. Like, it's the first basketball game. I'm not trying to get courtside seats, right? So I'm sitting in the nosebleeds. I'm behind her, behind her shoulder, and I'm looking down, so I can see whenever the ball hits the court, so to speak, right? So I remember them, telling her to push and telling her that she's doing great, and I'm telling her, "Oh, you're doing great." I'm trying to keep it together. I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying to be strong, for her. And she was great. She's so strong. She's phenomenal. So I remember when she gave a final push, and out comes this small human, and I was terrified at first because when our son came out, he looked all purple, right? And I had never seen this before. I didn't know what happened, so it looked all purple, and my heart dropped. I'm like, is something wrong with my child? So I feel like the moment between me seeing him and him taking his first breath or making his first noise, it felt like an eternity. I remember feeling like I lost everything just for him to begin crying, and I felt like I gained everything. In a matter of seconds, my whole world just flipped completely. I went from being terrified, feeling like I lost everything, realizing how excited I actually was for it and how much it meant to me, to getting it back. It was, saying it now, that's the first time I really thought about it that way, but that's exactly how it was. Our baby comes out. He's a little premature, lies on Kimberly's shoulder, and I see him for the first time. I don't know, like, as a father, you know how that is. You see this child for the first time, and I knew in that moment, I no longer live for me. I live for this child. Now, I want to pause there for a moment because I did mention that. So I have two other children that are my significant others from a previous relationship. They are currently 16 and 13. I came into their lives when maybe 7 years ago. So they were, not babies, not toddlers. They were able to go to the fridge on their own. They were able to do quite a few things by themselves. So, I knew I was going into a lot of new things. Kimberly was not as nervous as I. Obviously, she had done this a few times. I hadn't. So everything that I was about to embark on was new territory. I was going to be the one that was afraid all the time. I was going to be the one that was overbearing. I was going to be the one that was over controlling. I was going to be the one that's afraid. I knew that was going to be me. That was the hat I was ready to wear. I couldn't wait to put it on. Fast forward back to our child being laid on her chest, and I see him for the first time. And it's the first time in my life I think I felt proud, because right off the bat, this baby's been born for 3 minutes, and I have already done far more and have put in more effort than my father had with me. The whole time, the whole pregnancy, I was terrified that I was going to be what my father was, or be worse even. First 3 minutes, I'm already better. I'm here. I'm in love with this child. Two things that my dad didn't give me, didn't have with me. Already off the bat, I'm better than a lot of parents, a lot of fathers. So they lay him in this, when they take Grayson, they lay him in this, I'm gonna call it an incubator. It's probably not, because he's already born. But they lay him in this thing with like a heat lamp, and he has like this like. Have you guys ever seen like the little pan of popcorn you used to be able to buy back in the 90s, early 2000s? And it's got like the aluminum on top, and you put it on the stove top, and you kind of move it back and forth, and it pops, and it expands, and it's just this aluminum dome looking thing. They had to put one of these on his head, I guess, to draw the heat from the lamp to his head, just to kind of warm him up, bring his body temperature up. I don't know if this is normal. I don't recall asking, honestly. I was just in awe. My son's lying in this bed, this heat bed, this Yeah, in this heat bed, this tanning bed, and I'm just standing at attention like a soldier. Like I'm just standing there, and I'm just saying his name, and I have so many videos on my phone of me just like saying his name, saying, "Hey, buddy, Daddy's here. Daddy loves you." All this stuff, and then I get to hold him for the first time because it's time for him to feed, and I get to hold him, feed him, and there's this picture that we have. And I'll put it up on Twitter, and I'll shout out the Twitter at username for everyone later who wants to see it. Or I can go ahead and do that now. It's at the Dad Lounge Pod. There's this picture of me holding him, and he's smiling. He's born like an hour and a half prior, and he's smiling, and I'm smiling. And it's my mom's favorite picture in the world. She has it hung up in her living room. But yeah, it's a phenomenal picture, and that was when it first hit me that I was going to be a father. That was my first father moment with a toddler, with a baby rather, not even a toddler. I was scared, I was terrified, but I overcame it, and I realized that I think I'll do okay. I won't always have the answers. I won't always do what's quote unquote right. I won't always be, you know, the most popular dad or the coolest dad or the nicest dad always, even because, like I said, I struggled. I was still trying to grow, and I feel like I may have struggled a lot more than other people had, than other dads had. I think whenever we look at other dads, it's very easy to compare, right? It's very easy to say, okay, so you have this together. Look at how you and your child are bonding. But the whole time, you're not looking at what you have. You're not looking at the bond that you and your child have. You don't see what they see. So I've learned over time to look at what I'm doing with my children through someone else's eyes. So I try to just look at everything that we do as just a beautiful moment, as if I were a passerby, looking at this happening and just capturing this beautiful moment that may never exist again. But that day, the day that he was born, something shifted in me. I realized that being a dad's not about having all the answers. It's about showing up, even when you don't know what you're doing. So if you're a dad listening right now and you've had those moments of doubt, you're not alone at all. You're not. We've all been there. And honestly, those messy, imperfect moments are what make fatherhood so, so beautiful. So with that being said, I want to issue an invite to all the fathers who may be listening to share your stories with me. You can reach me on X or Twitter. I still call it Twitter, at the Dad Lounge Pod. I am also on TikTok and can be reached there at Dad Lounge Pod. Reach out to me on either one of those platforms and share some of your stories with me. Maybe I could read some of them in the next episode. Maybe I could have some of you on. I do have plans to bring on other people, other dads that I know. I think that would be a very good thing to do. But like I said, this place is a lounge. It's not a lecture. I'm not here to lecture. There will be no episodes where I'm lecturing, where I'm coming in here. I am the best dad. I'm telling you how to do it. No, I'm here to share stories. I'm here to share fun moments, sad moments. I'm here to cry with you guys. I'm here to open up to you just like I want you to open up to me. I want you to be comfortable enough to open up with me. As men, we don't always, or as fathers, we don't always get the chance to say how we feel. And if we do say how we feel, we don't always get the benefit or the pleasure of being heard. We're made to feel as though we have to suppress it, push it down, carry on, chin high. And while that sounds great on paper, it sounds phenomenal, it's not always very realistic. We're people. So I wanted to make a little lounge area for us to come and kick back and just talk about what we have going on, how we feel. Tell each other how rough today was, because no one else wants to hear it. But yeah, guys, in next episode, I plan to go over just a few funny moments, maybe a few happy moments that I've had as a father, encompassing the last 7 years with, like I said, my two oldest, as well as the toddler now as he just started preschool. That's a whole nother story. I don't even want to get started with that. because I don't want to cry in this first episode. When I get into that, there's going to be tears. I'm going to cry. I'm not crying on the first episode, okay? So we'll get to that one maybe in episode 2. Maybe I'll cry for you guys in episode 2 when we get to talking about preschool. Because the first day of preschool, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I've never wanted to be in a classroom so bad for my entire day. I asked this teacher, I'm like, where do I sit? I'm not getting into it. Guys. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. Fathers, mothers, if you're here, just to kind of hear how the dads feel sometimes. I think that may be a good thing as well. I'm signing off here, guys. Please reach out to me. Share some of your stories with me. I'll release an episode of this podcast every week on Mondays. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the lounge. Have a good one.